everyone, it's Jo here at Your Perfect Invite in Milton Keynes. We're specialists in wedding invitations and all the other stationery you could possibly need for your special day. In today's Tuesday chat, we're speaking to a couple who we ended up working with for over 2 years, I think it was in the end, because of COVID postponements. We just couldn't get rid of them, although they are quite lovely, so we didn't really try that hard. Now, I'm sure they wouldn't mind me saying, but they didn't really know where to start when it came to wedding stationery. So having somewhere to come to talk to was really useful for them. Katy and Laura were married this year, just a couple of months ago, actually, in October at the Crazy Bear in Stadhampton, which I think I've said probably nearly correctly. So they are probably still in the honeymoon phase of marriage. I know they've taken today off today to do a bit of Christmas shopping and have been kind enough to agree to talk to me. So without further ado, I would like to welcome today's guests, Katy and Laura. Hello, girls. How are you?
Well, thank you.
I know we've just done the how are yous, like a little bit off screen, but I will ask you again. So you all right?
Yes, thanks.
Well, thank you very much for agreeing to talk to me today about your wedding and the journey in getting there. So do you mind if we start at the beginning and tell us a little bit about the proposal and who proposed to who?
I proposed. I don't know if you've ever done it, but it's very nerve-wracking. I had lots and lots of grand ideas. Laura likes the finer things in life. But I cancelled. I must have made like 4 different plans and cancelled, obviously, 4 different plans. And then one day, my hair was straightened. And I thought, okay, fine, I'll just do it today. So what I'd done is I'd actually printed a book of all of Laura's grumpy faces and put them into a book and gave it to her and said, even though you spend half your life looking at me like this, grumpy, would you marry me?
And how did you take that, Laura?
I was a little bit blindsided. We'd had a really busy year. Like we'd had our first family holiday, hadn't we?
You'd run the marathon.
I'd run the marathon.
Oh wow!
So there was loads of opportunities that I kind of thought because it had been talked about. So there's loads of opportunities where I thought maybe it had
because we've gone to Paris happen as well. Yeah.
So actually, it was the perfect surprise. Like I was in my house, I was in my pajamas. I couldn't have been happier.
Oh. You'd run a marathon and been to Paris, and she decided to print off a book of you looking miserable and saying, I still want to marry you anyway. And you said yes.
Of course. It was a nice ring.
It was a nice ring, was it? Cool. So when you came to us, didn't you? We did your save the dates, didn't we? So
the first save the dates of 3, one of 3.
One of 3, I know.
And we did kind of know what we wanted, Jo. We wanted no faff. Do you not remember that?
I do remember the specification of absolutely no faff. Although you did go for something with ribbon on in the end.
We did, but no diamantes.
But no diamantes.
You were very, very kind, and we were really super grateful to come in and actually talk to you and bother you face to face. So numerous times. Thanks for your patience.
Did you ever look online? Did you try and start the journey online at all? Or
no, it was never an option to buy any online kits or that sort of stuff. It's not between the two of us. There's nothing creative in our minds.
And you're the experts for the reason. We will happily pay someone who knows what they're doing to do what they do best. So yeah.
Oh, so that was it. And you got married at the Crazy Bear. Am I saying it right when I say Stadhampton? Is it Stadhampton?
Yeah.
The Crazy Bear, which is quite a posh restaurant type place, isn't it? I'm sure people who like the finer things in life, like Laura, know more about these places than I do. I mean, I'm more your Pizza Express kind of girl. But so what made you choose the Crazy Bear then as a venue to get married in?
I don't know, I can't actually remember how it came up as an idea, but it was the first and only place we actually went to see. Like we knew that we weren't going to have a barn wedding or anything like that. We knew that it was going to be a hotel. Before, I don't know, we'd briefly talked about getting married in Paris, hadn't we? My grandma was alive at the time, and she wouldn't have been unlikely to travel. So that idea was knocked on the head quite quickly. And
the Crazy Bear's, dare I say, easy because it was so decorated anyway. We didn't have to do anything. We just had to sort of rock up, and it was sort of done.
I mean, I've seen some photos from your wedding, and it does look absolutely. I haven't got any to share on the screen, but you were kind enough to send me some afterwards, and it is proper glam, isn't it? I mean, they've got mirrored ceilings, they've got high polished everything. So that actually worked really.
Yeah.
It is really. I can't believe you two got married there, actually. But
And why is that?
sorry, be nice to people. Show people I'm nice. That's what. Sorry, I am nice, aren't I, girls?
Yeah, you are the best.
So yeah, I mean, it was a very, you went for quite a classic black and gold theme, didn't you? And that worked actually.
Yeah,
actually, it worked. It was perfect. Did you choose that color scheme because of the crazy bear and like how that was presentation wise, or
yeah, a little
so.
bit.
Yeah,
I think we didn't necessarily have wedding colours in mind, but we had seen. I think we'd seen that colour gold, hadn't we, on Mark's display at the wedding fair?
Mark's display.
Yes. Well, you weren't there.
Probably off buying pasta somewhere or something.
And we knew that we knew because we only had, other than Caleb and Neve, we only had an adult bridal party, so we knew we could put them in black and white. We knew that we could go sort of like classical, sort of black tie theme. So yeah, black and gold just ended up working, but it ended up being the colours of the wedding, didn't it?
Yeah, all the way through it.
And you had so we printed everything on a really lovely gold pearly card, didn't we? And then you had a black ribbon, but as we've discussed, absolutely no faffy diamonds or anything like that.
No heart shapes, no faff.
No cutouts. With no one
classical. Yeah, very classical, very simple. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we didn't want to discuss love at all on there. There was no like little hearts or anything faffy like that. But I mean, you touched on it earlier. You said save the dates. I think we did about 3 versions. In fact, I remember being at the point of approval for everything on your stationery as COVID hit. And I remember emailing you, Katy, and saying, I know you've approved this, but do you think we should hold off for a while? And you were like, yeah, it'll probably be all right. I was like, well, maybe
that's how much we like to come and see you.
Huh?
That's how much we like coming to see you.
Yeah. So we did. I mean, we were literally on the point where we were about to print everything, weren't we? And then COVID hit, and then that was all cancelled for October, wasn't it? And then, how frustrating was that, having to sort of move the date all the time? And did you ever, tiny bit, think about taking advantage of the 15 weddings?
I think our first date change from August was absolutely wounding, because we did, like you say, we came really, really close. I think we ended up
8 weeks or something.
No, it was less than that.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was probably 4 weeks, and we had mates texting us asking, like, have you made a decision yet?
Yeah.
And sort of tried to hold out as long as we possibly could. And then we postponed it till May, and then eventually till October. And then I think the other really insulting thing was, had we have just gone for a straight up year's postponement, like we spoke about, we would have got away with that, and we would have only had to postpone it once.
Yeah.
But we were really lucky. Like,
all of our suppliers,
everyone that we worked with was super accommodating.
Yeah. Did you have any problems at all sort of changing it, or?
No. All of our suppliers for our actual wedding day were our original suppliers from our first date. But we never considered a 15-person wedding, did we? But we would have gone with a 30-person wedding.
Yeah.
Because that would have given us enough numbers where we could have been very conservative about the amount of family we invited, and then just filled it with our friends.
Yeah, so because you're having your mates there were really important to you, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so how you talked about your suppliers there. How did you find your suppliers in the first place? Was it sort of by wedding fairs, or how did you go about finding your suppliers?
The supplier approved lists from the Crazy Bear. We just went with that, really.
Which we're not on. So.
Things
relating
Please
to the venue. We use their supply list basically for simplicity.
Yeah.
Because they work with the venue all the time. So things like the DJ,
the fireworks,
and the Toastmaster. And the Toastmaster, we used their list, but our photographer,
he was on the list, wasn't he?
No, because the photographer on the list was phenomenally expensive, fantastic, but out of our price range.
Yeah.
And then the other
Like hair, makeup.
I mean, you did
recommendations.
both look absolutely beautiful on the day, and I will share this when I write about this. I'm going to write this up in a nice little blog post for the website as well, and I will share a picture of you two looking absolutely gorgeous and Katy looking like the happiest person I have ever seen anyone look in any wedding picture ever. I mean, her cheekbones couldn't be any higher because of how happy she was to marry you, Laura. I mean, that must be really quite heartwarming for you, Laura, because I honestly have never seen anyone look that happy to be married to someone.
I think it was a combination, was it happiness and relief?
Yeah, we'd have to do it again.
Like
that
our day was finally here.
Yeah.
Pressure, I think, that we both started to feel nearer the time. Not from anyone other than ourselves, because I think you're like, when you're hosting a wedding, other than the getting married bit, you're essentially hosting a party, aren't you?
Yes, essentially.
And a party when no one's been allowed to party for probably the best part of 2 years.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, was it a mega celebration in the end?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. We were lucky. Like every single person we invited came, and there are a lot of people that didn't know each other that ended up mixing and finding groups, and we didn't have to worry about being the glue kind of thing, did we? Like everyone found their own way, and we just went and chatted to people, and it went so quickly in the end. There were people
we hear that a lot, like
that we hadn't even said hello to.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. Like the day just absolutely flies by. Do you regret sort of? Did you? I mean, I think I heard. Did you say you didn't sort of speak to everybody that you wanted to on the day?
We couldn't. So it was a blessing and a curse, really. Our venue, during lockdown, has spent loads of money on their outdoor terrace, which is beautiful, like Moroccan themed, like really manicured gardens, really, really nice place to be. And
too nice.
We got married in early October and the weather wasn't terrible, it meant that a lot of people gravitated outside.
Yeah.
Which then, because it physically spaced them out, it made it really difficult for us to get to it, because we'd come out of one door with the intention of going to speak to so-and-so, but by the time we got there, speaking to everybody else in between, an hour had gone, hadn't it? It was mad.
But isn't it lovely how like everyone there just wants to talk? Like you do feel kind of like royalty for the day, don't you? Like literally.
Oh yeah. We were truly humbled that everyone in that room had come to sort of like see us and celebrate us, and that was really, really lovely. Really lovely.
It is, yeah. You do. It does make you feel very special. But and the party in the evening, was that everything you hoped it would be?
No, again. It wasn't. It wasn't what we hoped it would be.
But we're not sad about how it was.
It still turned out. So we our kind of idea that we had in our head was that we're going to have a full dance floor.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen, but not because people didn't want to celebrate. I guess just because people were outside, people were catching up with people they hadn't seen like in such a long time. So a lot of my guests, or most of my guests, were work friends.
Yeah.
Some of those friends have worked together previously, but their careers have taken different paths. So maybe they haven't seen each other for 5, 6, 7 years. So no one was really interested in dancing, were they?
Other than my uncle.
There was maybe 10 or so people on the dance floor at any given time, but it certainly wasn't the packed rave that we had envisaged. But I think we were so tired, weren't we? And we knew that we had to go and speak to everyone. We wanted to go and speak to everyone.
What was your first dance? Did you have a first dance?
We did. We had a moonlight version of "We Found Love" by Rihanna and Calvin Harris.
Oh yes, I remember it being quite trendy. I do remember you telling me about these trendy things and stuff. I didn't know. I had no idea you two were such a trendy, modern couple.
What? Just because I'm wearing a fleece, Joe.
We are tired.
Sorry, I've got to go back to being nice to you because you're doing this for me as a favour. So what about your wedding day then? What was your favourite memory from the whole day, sort of looking back?
I think for me, it would have been probably the walking into our wedding breakfast
Yeah.
Because the actual ceremony part, so like the aisle walk and stuff, was over in the blink of an eye. Like I don't. Obviously, I do, like, because we were both stone cold sober, but we hadn't drunk that morning. I think we maybe had one at most. But obviously, the ceremony room is quite small. We didn't have a huge amount of time, so I don't have the best recollection of that very, very quick half an hour.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you any of our vows.
You did say I do though. You do remember saying the
It was
idea
an
part.
absolute whirlwind.
Yeah, it does. It is the ceremony part is over in the blink of an eye, isn't it?
Yeah, it really was, and because neither one of us had any time to sit down and actually take it all in before being like thrown into that ceremony room.
Thrown down the aisle.
And I think
who walked down? Did you walk down to who walked down first, or who was waiting for who?
First.
Yeah,
I walked down first. So I was waiting for Laura, and then Laura came down with your dad and Caleb.
And your dress, you see, Katie, you wore a dress, didn't you? You had your traditional white dress, and Laura, you wore the most amazing catsuit, which I knew from the conversations, the many conversations we had in the showroom when you came in to sort of talk about your stationery. We talked a lot about what you were going to wear and stuff. And I know you were quite worried about finding the perfect outfit, Laura, weren't you? But I think you nailed it. It was...
Oh, yeah, it looked fabulous.
Yeah, my dress...
Not that your dress wasn't gorgeous, by the way, Katie, because your dress was gorgeous. But
oh, no, it was massively all about Laura's jumpsuit. It was fabulous.
Yeah.
So where did you find that? Was the designer in London in the end?
Yeah, House of Olishon, it was called. And I went down to her studio to see something completely different, which was exactly what I thought I wanted in my head. And guess
was that a trouser suit? Was it?
Yeah. So I always knew that I was going to wear trousers,
yeah.
Whether or not that presented as like a two-piece suit or whether I was going to wear like an all-in-one. But because I had an hour's appointment, she said, "Oh, why don't you try a few others on as well?" And I think the last one I tried on, even though it was completely different to anything I had in mind, was the one that I went with. We made a few adjustments to it. But yeah, it had to be let out 2 weeks before the wedding.
Mine should have been let out.
That was a humbling experience.
We were coming off the back of a long period in lockdown where people just ate and ate and ate.
So. We didn't lock down though. We didn't lock down.
No, I know you both
so
worked throughout, didn't you? That's what you get when you're like your vital workers, like you guys are. Your key workers.
Vital.
I'll clap for you now.
Thanks.
So coming back to stationery then, I can't compete with your jumpsuit. It was phenomenal, but how important was your stationery to the overall look and feel of the day?
Massively important. I think we wanted that stationery to reflect like the tone that we were trying to set, and that we wanted, yes, there were elements of the wedding that were traditional that we wanted to keep traditional, but that basically we wanted a massive party. And
we wanted our guests to get like their invites and be excited to come like, oh, look how fancy this is. Like that's what we wanted. We didn't want it to go, oh, cool, another wedding. But yeah, we wanted them to get it and be excited as we were.
Did people get them and were they excited? Well, obviously people got them, but were they excited when they got them?
I'd like to think so. They all sent them back and said yes.
Yeah. Loads of people have commented, like have said about how fancy they were, despite the fact that we aren't fancy.
Yeah,
as you pointed out.
Trendy. Yes,
no, but that's what I love about you both. So don't take that as a personal slight on you.
Yeah.
What I loved about your on the day stationery, so you had your table plan, your tables were completely personal to you. You made them, you named them all after your little dog, didn't you? Sweet.
We did, yeah.
And I know she's around somewhere because you just showed me her in real life.
Yeah, that's where I went to go because she was barking at the door. So,
so she's a little terrier of some
Jack
sort.
Russell.
Jack Russell, yeah, that is a terrier, isn't it?
Yeah.
So check me out, my dog breeds.
Sweet.
Come here. Oh, is she coming in?
Yeah. Mabes.
Well, she won't come to me. She doesn't like me very much.
So she said she's. Oh, here she is. Look.
She is.
How cute. And you named them all after, you had photographs of her on every single table, didn't you? And then you named what she looked like in that picture. So I think we had naughty sweep,
How many
happy
moods?
sweep.
Yeah, naughty sweep, snacky sweep, summertime sweep,
party sweep.
party sweep.
So what made you choose to name your tables after Little Sweep then?
It took a while to get there, didn't it? I think.
Well, we could have Arsenal players.
Yeah, I wanted Arsenal legends.
How have I worked with you for this long and not known that you were an Arsenal fan?
Oh my God, you're a Tottenham fan.
She is a
Yeah,
Tottenham fan.
how has this never come up in conversation?
I knew that you was a Spurs fan, so we must have had this conversation at some point.
No, I'm sure. I usually remember.
You would have printed Arsenal legends, so it's a good job we didn't go with it.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we went down the dog route in the end. My lights had gone off there. Yeah, I'm glad we went down the dog route.
Yeah, we couldn't have table numbers,
Yeah.
so because of parent logistics,
Bureaucracy.
and politics.
Yeah,
so we went for
So it was because of the perceived hierarchy of the numbers.
Yeah,
was it?
yeah, absolutely. If we'd have numbered them and my mother was sat on a table number that would have been lower than my dad, then there would have been, or she would have had issues with that. So we just thought we'd foregone it altogether.
No, it's a really good way of making sure that people don't get upset at the fact that they're sat on table 8 when they think they should be table 2. There can be no arguments. And I loved your welcome sign as well. We put we've waited 400. How many days was it?
420 something,
Yeah,
an extra 425 maybe.
Yeah, so you had a big welcome sign in a lovely, beautiful frame.
Thank you so much.
You hired from our showroom.
Very
that
similar to
the
the
mirrors
ones
that you
behind
also
you.
hired.
Yeah.
That said we've waited an extra 437 days for this, the party accordingly.
Yeah. And some people did. Some people
Those 10 people that were on that dance floor. And your uncle, you said your uncle very much did.
Oh yeah, he was loving life.
He was partying. So looking back, is there anything you think you'd have done differently or wish you'd have done differently with the benefit of hindsight?
Got married slightly earlier, so we could maybe have longed out the time, as in the day.
Yeah.
So maybe not 3 o'clock, so we could have had maybe more time
With our day guests.
Yeah. Before we sat down for dinner.
There's a couple of bits and pieces that I think we would have liked to have ironed out, or I would have stayed at the venue
the night before.
because we had a really stressful morning. Just in terms of timing, my best man drove me and Caleb and the dog to the venue, and he took the back roads. Caleb and the dog got car sick.
Oh no.
Then the dog, and any advice to anyone thinking of getting married that thinks it might be cute to have the dog there, just don't bother.
And she loves the dog more than life itself.
Unless that dog is so incredibly well behaved, I think for us, the stress of having her there far outweighed the novelty of having her there, because it was hard having to monitor her, make sure that there was someone with her all the time, that the doors were shut, it was a ball ache.
Was she naughty sweep all day?
Yeah, she was an absolute terror. One of my friends came to pick her up at 4. So she was really only there for 3 hours, but in that 3 hours, she just caused absolute carnage.
Did you get any nice photos at least with her?
There are a few. She's in some of the official photographs.
Yeah, but we didn't have any there's no portrait ones with her in it because she was gone by then.
So yeah, and you love the dog more than life itself.
Oh god, yeah.
So yeah, just don't do it.
The dog doesn't like you, Laura?
Not really, no.
Whose dog? Where did you get the dog when you were together?
Yeah. I think she just she can sense a desperation from me.
Treat them mean, keep them keen. That's what they say, isn't it?
Yeah. Whereas
So,
Kate's quite
sorry, go on.
nonchalant with her, so she's all over Kate.
And Kate's just looking there sort of nonchalant. She's not really bothered about the dog, is she?
She's not.
I'll keep it safe. I feed her. I cook her chicken. We're fine.
Poor little sweep. Poor little Laura. That's what. So you wish you'd have got married that touch earlier, so you could have had sort of more of the day to enjoy with your guests.
I think so. Thinking about it, yeah.
So sort of in terms of advice for couples getting married now, then in terms of the whole planning, is there anything that you'd sort of advise couples to think about, or anything?
If you want a videographer, get one.
Sorry?
If you want a videographer, get one. Oh, and definitely have a Toastmaster. They are worth their weight in gold.
Did you? So right, let's start with the first one. Did you have a videographer?
We did, yeah.
You did, and
That was a new edition.
Yeah. So, and you didn't regret that?
We haven't had the video yet, because it takes a while to do all the editing. Yeah. But because we got ready completely separately, and actually having already mentioned that we didn't get to see all of our guests.
Yeah.
I would imagine there's going to be a lot on that video that we didn't even know happened.
Yeah, that is. I have to agree. Like in terms of what we spent out money on our day, the videographer was probably the most expensive thing we paid out on, but actually was the best investment. Yeah. And we've got shed loads of photos. I mean, we've got 5,000 photos that I hardly ever look at. But the wedding video, and it was great because our kids sort of watched it when they were old enough to understand it, and they watch it, and they kind of love sort of sharing as part of the day.
Yeah, we've got high hopes for the video. I think like when it arrives.
Yeah,
and just to relive it as well. Like
yeah,
we'll get like a movie, won't we? So we'll get like an 8-minute movie, but then there's specific parts that we've asked for the entire recording of. So the speeches. So there'll be clips of the speeches in the video, but then we've got the full speech as well.
Did either of you two make a speech? Laura, you did.
Loves the speech. Very good at them.
Love it. So it'll be good to relive that on the video. I bet yours is going to be
because that went so quickly.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. It said it again. It goes quickly. But I bet yours will be way more trendier than the music on mine, which is a sort of 80s cheese and Madonna Crazy for You. And
well, we've had to, because of like copywriting laws, we've had to use some website, haven't we, for like non-copyrighted music. So there won't be any famous music. Audio.
Oh, perhaps mine's quite illegal then, because I've got Madonna all over mine. No one. Yeah, I'll maybe edit this bit out.
Yeah.
So the videographer, that was one thing you said to invest in. What was the other thing that you
Toastmaster?
The Toastmaster. So you had a Toastmaster as well?
We did, yeah.
And did that help sort of make the day flow then?
Yeah, absolutely. We had the venue is not necessarily logistical, is it? Like, and a lot of it, like it's quite a muddled venue. It's quite confusing. So just having him around to usher people where they needed to be, it meant the photos. Like, I mean, we didn't have that many stage photos, but the ones that we did have, he got through them in like 10 minutes. By the time we'd done one set, the next lot were lined up ready to come in. He looked after us, didn't he? Like, he made sure that we had a drink. I know this is a job that you can give to the bridal party, but they were off like, talking to people.
Yeah, they were doing their jobs, like mingling and making sure everyone was fine. So yeah, the Toastmaster came with us with canapes, making sure we had drinks.
He was really good with my dad. So my dad is paralysed on his left side from a stroke, so he's a wheelchair user. He can walk with a cane, but just the way that he made my dad, like, just he made sure that he was where he needed to be before everyone else had to get there. So that he had ample time. He was fantastic, and we couldn't. That day would not have gone that smoothly without him.
Yeah,
perfect. 100%. So a videographer and a Toastmaster are your top tips, and obviously if you're not and surrounding areas, coming to us for the stationery, that's obviously the last thing you'd like to tell everyone, isn't it?
It was often the highlight of our week was a visit to JMS stationery.
Yeah, or getting an email, that was also quite lovely,
just for the sarcasm.
Me. This is supposed to be a promotional kind of thing that makes people want us to work with us, and
we have been very
nice. And who would want to work with someone that didn't have a sense of humour?
Exactly. I really, really appreciate the fact that you girls have come on to talk to me, so thank you very, very much. And I will let you go off and do your Christmas shopping now.
Thanks.
Am I on the list?
Oh yeah, of course.
Are we on your list?
Yeah.
Look at you. What can I
A Christmas card in our wedding colours. With a ribbon but no diamonds.
And no hearts.
No hearts.
Right, amazing. Thank you ever so much for that. And I really do hope that you'll stay in touch, and I'll speak again with you soon.
Take care, Jo.
Cheers. Bye.
See you later.
Bye-bye. So that was Katy and Laura, who we worked with on their wedding stationery earlier this year. If you are in Milton Keynes or the surrounding area and you would like help with your wedding stationery, then please do think about coming to visit us at our showroom in Kiln Farm, Milton Keynes, or you can hop onto our website, which is www.yourperfectinvite.co.uk, or you can find us on all the social media channels like Facebook at Your Perfect Invitation and Instagram at Your Perfect Invite. But for now, I'll say goodbye, and I'll wish you a very Merry Christmas, because it probably will be our last Tuesday chat before Christmas, and we will see you in the new year.